One person, full process of renovating a 300-yard home. The old house had been abandoned for years. I quit my job and came back to fix it up for retirement. Step 1. Clear out the weeds. At first I had no experience, so I pulled all the weeds by hand. Started with the center of the yard, then the entrance area. I piled up all the rotten wood in one spot. Then cleaned the pigsty, later turned it into an outdoor kitchen. Two things I regret: cutting down all the toon trees, and burning the old cart for firewood. After 3 days, the yard was cleared. Then I started cleaning the inside of the house. An epic challenge began. Cleaned up, then straight to renovation. All the junk I cleared out was thrown away. Everything cleared, the real makeover could begin. After finishing all that, I started the hard and soft renovations inside. Budget was tight, so I didn't replace the main door, just sanded it down and refinished it, polished smooth, added varnish, and put on a copper lock for style. Then sanded the main beam, painted it dark green. I like how the beam looked exposed, so I decided not to add a ceiling. Then came the dirty, tiring job of refurbishing the walls. It was exhausting work, all the effort on my body. Before, I was stuck at the office, endless targets, late nights and non-stop meetings. Compared to that stress, the hard work of fixing a yard is really nothing at all. After refreshing the old beams, the house had real character. Next step was painting the walls. First a ceiling coat, then plaster, and finally latex paint. I bought some cloth strips to stuff into the gaps so dust wouldn't fall in. This job really took patience. But in the end, it looked better without the cloth stuffed in. Then I tackled the floors in the 3 rooms. First raised the old kitchen floor, then laid cement over it. Turned one room into a kids' play area. The middle room became a tea room. First broke down the raised flooring. Then started laying tiles, combined the original 4 rooms into 3. The big middle room became the tea room. To match the wood beams, I chose yellow tiles. One bedroom got light-colored tiles. The hard renovations were done. Time to try making some furniture. First, a solid wood bed, so I could rest while working. The wood came from friends, so it cost nothing. Found a broken plank by the road, turned it into a headboard shelf. Then focused on decorating the tea room. I built my first ever tea table. People online joked it looked like a butcher's table. With a tea table, I couldn't miss a big chair. So I made one too, like the throne of the 109 heroes of Liangshan. Next I built a long bench, using the simplest method. Then made a display shelf from scrap wood. I placed all my work certificates on it. Since starting this project, I've loved picking up scraps in the village. This old log I turned into a rustic display piece. Used some ironwood from a friend to build a shelf. Couldn't afford a fireplace, so I installed a simple stove. With a stove, I also needed a wood rack. So I made one from scrap wood. It worked just fine. Even an old yoke set wasn't wasted. I turned it into a coat rack. I love reading, so I built a bookshelf for the tea room. With books, flowers are a must. I used an old millstone as a flower stand. Saw rustic style trending online, so I tried making one myself. My uncle gave me a pig trough. I turned it into a water feature. Throughout this project, most materials were reused on site, saving a lot of money. Since I often switched shoes at work, I quickly made a shoe rack with wood from a friend. Felt like a door was missing, so I built one from straw. Too much leftover wood. I tinkered and made a display cabinet. The grain of weathered elm looked amazing, so I rebuilt it into a tea table. Remember the big tank I cleared earlier? I turned it into a traditional fish pond. I really love weathered elm wood. This time I made it into an entryway artwork. And just like that, the tea room and bedroom were decorated. All these were my first attempts at making things. Because deep down I love building with my hands. Indoor work done, time to fix the outside. I tore up the extra red bricks on the ground. Then started work on the terrace. In the middle I added a small gate. The rough plan was done. I even drew a simple design sketch myself. In heavy rain, I laid red bricks to test it out, just to see how it would look. Then I followed the plan and started construction. First worked on the surrounding wall. Opened up a passage leading to the bathroom. After 2 days, the redesign was complete. Next step was installing water pipes in the yard. On the terrace, I used frost-proof faucets. The water pipes were done, then soil was filled back, and drainage pipes installed. After about 10 days, water supply and drainage were done. Next renovation step, fixing all the courtyard walls. First beautified the main house walls. Then worked on the east and west wings. Chose white as the main color. At the same time, we beautified the outside yard. The courtyard wall was painted white, the main gate in gray. This spot here, I plan to turn into a village info board later. The yard was changing every single day. We painted the east wall of the courtyard too. Since the walls were uneven, a plaster base was added first, and just like that, inside and outside walls were painted. Next came decoration installs. Step 1, put caps on the top of the walls. Since budget was limited, we used resin tiles for everything. For now the look and quality seem fine. Step 2, decorate the main gate. Added a pair of solar lamps on both sides. The outer courtyard was mostly complete. Then we started paving the yard floor with tiles. We chose lychee surface stone. While paving the floor, one word: regret. Then I tinkered again, decorating the hidden wall a bit. Also fixed up the stone wall by the entrance. Bought small tiles and lined the veggie garden and flower bed. Following the schedule, I worked on the terrace. First hardened the terrace floor. Then with my uncle built a bench with a flower bed. No yard is complete without a big stove. With my uncle's help, we built a big stove and a counter. I used scrap wood again to decorate the cement bench. Then added a small wooden gate on the terrace. All decorations followed the design plan. For rainy days cooking goose in a wok, I built a shelter overhead. To remind myself to eat less oil and salt, I even made a warning sign. For easier kitchen storage, I built a rack out of scrap wood. Here I hung all the cooking tools. And here I hung the garden tools. Once everything was ready, I tested the big stove with a meal. To enjoy ribs more easily, I made a table for the terrace. Used leftover red bricks as the base. Then decorated the background wall with scrap wood. After all this effort, the terrace area was finally done. Then I started working on the entrance area. I made to water features there. During this whole renovation, I saved whenever possible, like cutting bricks in jars all by hand. And so, the first water feature was done. Then I started on one for the side wall. Some said it looked ugly, but I feel what I make with my hands is always the best. It's my yard, my taste. Renovation done. I started making a play area for my son, decided to use the west wing space, and built him a sandbox. Kids love colors. so I painted that wall bright and colorful. With the sandbox done, I made him some toys from scrap wood. Even an old broken stool became a treasure. After the small ones, I built a big swing for him too. Once installed, I painted it with oil to protect it. Renovating this yard was so worth it. Now, I can bring my son here to play. Seeing my son happy, I even made him a rocking chair. Everything in this yard was recycled, saving money and still useful. After finishing his play area, I started building myself a secret base. Budget was tight, so I used scrap for everything. First, I made a tea table. Polished the top, added varnish, then assembled it. And just like that, a tea table made almost free. Then I found an old scale beam and turned it into an outdoor lamp. Picked up another dead log, couldn't throw it away, so I kept modifying it. In the end, it became a mood light for my base. To save money, I even used my mother-in-law's pickle jar. That jar became part of the secret base. Even an old cupboard door I found was useful. The metal sheet cut from the jar was reused too. And so the secret base got its name. I didn't throw away any of the old house's steel. Everything got used again. Money was tight. I couldn't afford new materials. I used broken bricks instead. Had a tea table, but still needed a tea stand, so I repurposed an old millstone. Maybe men are just born curious about jars. I grabbed a few broken jars and made a traditional fish tank. Picked up some scrap wood, built a teacup holder. I'm obsessed with fountains, so I made another water feature. Then I added strip lights to the secret base. Lots of flowing water. Guess that's what men like as they age. On a whim, I even made a hanging lamp over the tea table. But still no chair to drink tea, so I built one cheaply from scraps. Even my mother-in-law's last pickle jar, I took it for the project. Found to old elm scraps. Turned them into teacups and an ashtray. Saw rustic style trending online, so I tried making a rack too. Old guys like me have lots of cups and beads, so with weathered elm scraps, I built a small shelf. older men really love, the grain of aged wood. Honestly, I started with bare hands, and everything came from scraps. One more log I found, I carved into a rhino tea stand. A bit wasteful maybe, I even cut up a good jar. But with all that tinkering, the secret base was finally complete. A friend gave me an old door panel. I turned it into another tea table. With the table done, still needed a stool, so I built one in the simplest way. Couldn't waste weathered elm either. I made it into a teacup stand. Even an old cutting board is useful. After a little work, it became a tea tray. For tea at night I needed mood lighting, so I built a lamp from scrap wood. Even an unwanted big jar, I gave it a makeover too. And just like that, the courtyard interior was nearly done. Then I started tinkering with the walls again. Since I like lively places, I turned the entrance into an info center. With an info center built, how could I skip a sign hanging ceremony? And so, after half a year, the courtyard was finished. Thanks to all the fans for the support along the way. Please like, save, and follow me. I'll share all my renovation experience with you.